The moment I signed the adoption papers, my hands were shaking so badly the pen nearly slipped. I wish I could say it was only from joy. But the truth is, as the ink dried, so did the last piece of trust one had in my wife. Because 2 nights earlier I learned the boy I'd raised for 6 years, the boy who called me dad, wasn't mine. And she had known all along. I found out by accident. It always happens like that, doesn't it? I was looking for a charger in the drawer by her bedside table, when I noticed a brown envelope tucked beneath her old passport. I shouldn't have opened it. I know that. But something about the way it was hidden, not stored, felt wrong. Inside were the DNA results. My name wasn't even on the page. Another man's was. For a full minute I couldn't breathe. The room spun, and I held onto the dresser to stay upright. I read the paper again and again, hoping that somehow I'd misread it, that maybe it meant something else. But it didn't. My wife had cheated. My stepson, my son in every way that mattered, was the product of that betrayal. And she had kept the truth from me for 6 years. I didn't confront her immediately. I couldn't. Every time I looked at her, I saw lies stitched into her smile. Every laugh, every touch, they all felt tainted. But what broke me wasn't her deceit. It was the thought of my son, the little boy who waited by the window every evening for me to come home, who clung to my shirt at school drop-off, who cried the first time I shaved my beard because he said I didn't look like his daddy anymore. What would this truth do to him? The next night, after she fell asleep, I sat on the couch staring at the adoption packet she'd been begging me to finalize for months. I suddenly understood why she was pushing it so hard. She wasn't trying to honor me. She was trying to secure me, trap me. But as I flipped through the papers, I saw a drawing tucked between the pages. A small crinkled piece of paper my son must have slipped inside when she wasn't looking. It was a stick figure drawing of me holding his hand. Above our heads he'd written, "My dad is my hero." I broke. I cried harder than I had in years. Not because of betrayal, but because of love. And right there, through tears and anger and heartbreak, something inside me shifted. He may not have been mine by blood, but he was mine by every choice I'd made. And I wasn't going to let her lie erase that. When I confronted her the next morning, she froze. Her face drained of color, and she didn't even deny it. She tried to spin it, of course, said it happened during a rough patch, said she didn't want to lose me, said she thought the truth didn't matter anymore. Didn't matter. Her words were a blade with no handle, every side cut me. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I didn't call her names. I simply told her what hurt. You let me love him without ever giving me the truth. You took away my right to choose. She cried. She begged. She followed me around the house, saying she was scared I'd leave them both, that she only hid the truth because she knew I'd be a better father than the biological one. Maybe that was the worst part, she was right about that. But being right doesn't erase betrayal. When she realized I wasn't softening, she said something that finally snapped the fragile thread holding my restraint together. If you adopt him, then this doesn't have to destroy us. In that moment I understood. She wasn't sorry. She was strategic. But the thing she didn't know, the part that gave me quiet power, was this. I had already made my decision. Not for her. Not for the man whose name was on that test. For him. For my son. The adoption hearing was small, quiet, almost clinical. The judge asked routine questions. Was I doing this willingly? Was I committed to providing care? Did I understand the legal responsibilities? Yes. 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 My wife squeezed my hand through the whole process, as if we were a team. I let her. Sometimes silence is sharper than confrontation. But my eyes weren't on her. They were on the boy fidgeting in the chair beside me, swinging his legs nervously. When the judge finally said the words, "Congratulations, you are now his legal father," I heard my son inhale sharply. He didn't look at his mother. He looked at me. His eyes filled with tears, big, glassy ones that slid down his cheeks faster than he could wipe them. "Dad," he whispered, almost in disbelief, "you picked me. You really picked me." I felt something collapse inside my chest, the last of the bitterness, the last of the confusion, the last of the anger. Because betrayal had brought me pain. But love brought me to my knees. I pulled him into my arms, holding him so tightly I felt his heartbeat against mine. He buried his face in my shirt, sobbing the kind of tears only children cry. Pure, unfiltered, overflowing. I thought I thought maybe you wouldn't want me anymore, he choked. My voice broke when I answered. I will always want you. Nothing, not even what adults do wrong, can change that. Behind us, my wife cried too. But her tears felt distant, blurry, unimportant. They weren't my focus anymore. My son was. That night, after he fell asleep clutching the framed adoption certificate like it was a treasure, I sat alone in the living room. My wife approached quietly, fragile, almost fearful. So, does this mean we're okay? She whispered. I didn't look at her when I answered. No. It means he is okay. She didn't reply. Maybe she finally understood. Maybe she didn't. But it didn't matter anymore. I wasn't staying for her. I was staying for the boy who chose me long before I ever signed a paper. And maybe someday when he's older, when he asks why things changed between his mother and me, I'll tell him a version of the truth, gentle, careful, but honest. But for now I can live with the quiet. The betrayal didn't destroy me. It reshaped me. Because in the ruins of her lies, I found something worth keeping. A son. A bond built not by blood but by choice. And that, more than anything, brought me to tears.